Seltzer Kings
podcasts.
They decrypted themselves, but I almost had it.
What did they say?
Bunch of stuff we already knew about 314. But it also said there's some final phase where Adam manufactures a bunch of creepy cyber demonoids like him. There's a special lab in the initiative, but it didn't say where.
Adam fed Spike those discs. It has to be. He wanted me to know about his evil guy assembly line. This lab, it's in the initiative.
Hidden somewhere.
Well, give the demon his due. He thought this one out.
What do you mean?
You know how overcrowded the containment cells have been at the initiative? Those demons were just too easy to catch. It's like they wanted in that place.
The Trojan horse.
Adam's gonna make sure the demons attack the initiative from the inside.
Demons versus soldiers. Massacre, massacre.
And Adam has a neat pile of body parts to start assembling his army. Diabolical, yet gross.
Does anybody else miss the mayor? I just want to be a big snake.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review, our reaction, our thoughts. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 21, titled Primeval, directed by James A. Contner, written by David Fury, original air date May 16th, 2000, to an audience of 4.85 million people. And I can't tell if I loved this episode or hated this episode. Or if I loved it because of how dumb it was or hated it because of how ridiculous it was. I don't know, man. I'm like...
Yeah, I think I'll figure out how I feel about the episode during
as we talk through
podcast. Because it's like so much happening.
Yeah.
So much. I have so many questions.
Oh, man, do I have questions. Man, do I have, as I was watching this, it just kept upping the level of insanity.
I have logic questions. I have, story questions. I have casting questions.
Well, before we get into all of our questions, everybody, we have a fucking shout out. We got a 5-star Apple Podcast review. It's been a while since we got one of those. So I want to give a special shout out to Aztekgers. Thank you so much for your 5-star review. It's very kind words. Really appreciate it. And if you want to get a freaking shout out, leave a review, rate and review on Apple Podcasts, or give a 5-star review, screenshot it, send it to my DMs at Joe Welke. And
or Spotify.
Oh, Spotify, yes, sorry. Send it to my DMs, and we'll get you a fucking shout out on the show.
The F-bombs are dropping hard and fast this one.
Yeah, I'm going to let everybody know I'm running on about 4 hours of sleep and a lot of coffee and Mountain Dew right now.
The tired Joe is, the more F-bombs come out. I've noticed that trend.
They just become a filler. They replace or
No. I was going to the fucking store and then
I'll do my best, everybody. I know you're going to listen to this around your children.
This is a family show. People gather around the iPhone and listen.
All right. Let's get into Primeval without any further ado, because I'm sure this one's going to run a while.
And our shortest podcast yet.
Also, join our Discord. Links in the show notes. Join our Patreon. Patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy. We do Boys Watching Angel, Boys Watching Movies. Our most recent episode on Cocaine Bear is out now, so listen to that. Enjoy it. Good times. All right.
I do have one thing to say from last episode that leads right into this. watching the recap, I did not realize when Buffy said, when she got mad at all of her friends and said, I'm going to go to the one person I know I can trust. At the end,
I didn't.
I was like, oh, who's she going to go to? Had no clue it was Riley.
Yeah, I forgot about that part when we were doing our recap last time.
Well, I was like, oh, this is cool. She's about to go meet up with I was like, who is she going to meet up with? I was like, probably not Angel, but who? And I had it didn't even cross my mind to think she was going to go to Riley.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought Giles was already asleep. But yeah, at the big top of this episode, we get a whole recap of, Adam's plan and how Spike is working with him, Forrest dying, and then the Scooby Gang's little fight scene. So this episode opens up with, Buffy going to Sunnydale High to find Riley because that's the one person that she can trust. And has she ever given him a reason that he can't trust her? Up for debate. But Riley is not there because he is with Adam. As we saw in the last episode, Riley showed up to Adam's little cave. So Buffy's looking around the high school like, Riley, where are you? And then we go over to Riley in Adam's little cave. And Adam's telling Riley, hey, look, we've got a lot to discuss. I've been programmed. You're my brother. Remember Mother, Professor Walsh? She implanted a chip in you. And I was like, of course.
These magical chips.
Yeah, dude.
They can be implanted into vampires. They can be implanted into humans.
Mm-hmm.
You can implant them anywhere, and they do whatever you want them to do.
So, according to Adam, Professor Walsh did not implant the chip in Riley's head. She implanted it in his heart. And it is a behavior modifier. And Riley is like, what does all this mean? Why am I here? How can you order me around and all this stuff? And Adam keeps calling him brother. And Riley's like, I'm not your brother. You're a robot. You're a demon. I am a human being. And then Adam is like, sit down. And Riley just sits down. And I was like, so wait.
And so it begins. Yeah.
So Adam can command Riley around.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a plot twist.
This is the weirdest thing about this is if Maggie Walsh implanted a chip in Riley,
Mm-hmm.
that she could control him, why didn't she?
Yeah. Maybe that's what she was trying to do when he was walking away and she kept being like, Agent Finn, and yelling at him. But why not enact that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get why she would have never tried to be like, oh, I'm just going to have you say some weird shit in front of Buffy to piss her off and then it's over. I
could understand why it was because Adam wasn't finished yet, at least in her estimations, why she couldn't awaken Adam or whatever.
But she's already put a chip in Spike. So they'd already been doing chip tests. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying is so I can understand why Adam wasn't being able to do anything, but the chip's already in Riley's heart. You can command him around.
Yeah.
The beta testing is over. It's in there.
And the chip placement seems so dumb because that's not what controls your...
Yeah, it would be in your nervous system or something.
We talk about feel in your heart, but it's all from your brain.
Yeah.
Heart's just a muscle that's pumping.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, it's if you could control people like that too, why is Spike just not biting people but has full faculties?
Yeah.
We got more to get, yeah.
These chips, dude. But yeah, so he tells Riley to sit down and Riley obeys. And then he starts lecturing him about I can promise you power you've never even thought of. And and demons are worthless when it comes to technology, but Mother saw our future, not just one of humans and demons separately, but of a hybrid type of thing. And Riley, you're supposed to play a role by my side. And then Spike shows up, and Spike's like, hey man, I got the Scooby Gang to fight. They're all pissed off at each other. You gonna get my chip out now? And then Adam's like, not yet. And Spike is like, dude, I'm about up to here with this bullshit. And then he sees that Riley's there and he starts poking at Riley, being like, oh, look at this fucking worthless person. And then Adam's like, yeah, I activated Riley's chip. He's a little lapdog now and I can command him around. And then Spike's like, isn't that neat? Cool. Hey, Adam, what do you want me to do more that I can get my chip out? And then Adam tells him that Spike has to lure Buffy to the initiative to fight a bunch of demons in this like war that he's going to do. He's going to unlock all of the demon cages. Then the demons are going to be fighting the initiative. Buffy's going to swoop in, fight all the demons, and then get really freaking tired so that by the time she gets to Adam, he's just going to be able to easily kill her because of how exhausted she is.
I think he wants her to I think he just wants more people to die too.
Yeah.
He's not I don't think he's really that afraid of her, but he doesn't think the soldiers can kill as many of the demons that he wants.
But like, what was this thing about? Remember last episode or 2 episodes ago when he was talking about how like she's going to be the leader of the humans and stuff? And
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I remember him saying it, but I was so confused because we didn't have any idea of his plan. So,
yeah. So then Spike is like, well, it's easy to lure her into the initiative. I mean, I've got Willow. What is it? Unencrypting, disencrypting? She's
encrypting. I don't.
She's breaking through the code of the floppy disks, and it's going to lead her back to the initiative. And then Adam is like, oh, yeah, Willow, the girl that hates Buffy now, she's going to tell her what's on the floppy disk. And Spike is like, oh, god damn it, I fucked up.
And I love this because I was like, this is why Spike always fails. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, I'm sorry, bro. I get why you're, okay. Yeah, I get it. We'll figure something else out. We'll figure it out. Like, I'll just lure Buffy to the initiative. Like, I'll just take her. I'll get her there. Yeah. And Adam's like, you fucking better, dude, or I'm going to kick your ass. Yeah. So then we go over to Giles.
Do we? Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, never mind. You go ahead.
So then we go over to Giles' house and he wakes up and he's all hungover because we saw last episode he was wasted.
Ooh, we get robe Giles.
Yeah, robe Giles and like that weird ice pack from like the cartoons.
The cartoon hangover pack.
And he's got a knock at his door and he goes and he's like, oh, I'm coming. He opens the door. It's bright out and he's like, oh. And it's Willow and Tara. And they're like, oh, hey. And Giles is like, oh, hey. Willow's like, this is awkward. I'm just coming to get my laptop. And Giles is like, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead. So Willow goes in there, grabs her laptop, and then he and Tara have like this weird like nodding moment at each other. And then Willow's like, all right, I got my laptop, I'm out. Giles is like, all right, see ya. It's just all awkward.
Yeah, it's more awkward than it should have been because for Giles didn't do anything to Willow. He did say bloody hell when he overheard like that they're girlfriends together or whatever, that they're dating. But he was like upstairs and drunk, so it wasn't like he had anything to do with the conflict.
Yeah, he didn't have any beef with Willow.
Yeah.
Like, so why is it awkward between them?
And Tara was in the bathroom the whole time, so.
Yeah. So that was, maybe it was just
I'd be more awkward being
hungover.
Tara. I'd be more awkward being Tara just going over to Giles' house ever.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't have a history with this guy.
True. He was not her high school librarian.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wait, so we're going over to this adult male's house that just like some bachelor with books on demon stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah.
But Yeah, it's to play up the whole awkwardness of the aftermath of the fight from last episode. And and it's a little bit awkward. And speaking of the aftermath, Buffy goes into her dorm and she's alone.
Is she in her dorm or is she back at home? Like, it looked different.
I feel like it was the dorm.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like it was the dorm, though, because she goes over to the phone and she's like, I got to call somebody. And then she's like, oh, wait, I can't call anybody because all of my friends hate me. And she looks at like a picture of her with the Xander and Willow. And she's like, no, my friends. Oh. And then she's like, well, I guess I got to do this on my own. She walks over to behind her bed, picks up a giant clanging bag of what I assume is weapons. And then she's
weapons
like,
that we'll never see.
Yep. She picks up that giant bag of clanging weapons and she's like, this isn't enough. Let me pick up my enormous giant battle axe.
Yes.
Could you imagine seeing somebody walking through the halls of this dorm with a gigantic battle axe like she has?
I wouldn't even flinch after seeing the stuff I've seen in this place. I'm like, I'm going to go save your friend? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Are you going to the whole house, I guess?
Yeah.
Don't forget to touch that orgasm wall.
Riley showed up in full fatigues and a gun.
Yeah, that's true. He did, and he was waving it around. Yeah. You'd think that this college was in Texas, though.
It's in California, not that far off.
Yeah, yeah. So then we go over to Xander's place, and Xander is like in bed, and he's just like looking up at the ceiling. He's questioning all of his life decisions and everything that's going on. And Anya comes down, and she's like, hey, Xander, what are you doing still in bed? You're supposed to be going to the unemployment office. And Xander's like, there's never anything good over there, man. All the jobs suck. And Anya's like, well, you still got to go. And like, what's wrong with you? Are you still upset about that fight with your friends? That was last night. Forget about it. And Xander's like, it's not that
is simple. A weird statement from a vengeance demon.
Yeah.
Get over it. Like,
it was less than 24 hours, probably like 12 hours ago.
The worst vengeance demon ever. He's like, you're not really mad at him. He cheated on you last night. It's fine.
He cheated on you yesterday. You sure you're still mad about this?
You still want to make a like world-changing wish? Okay, fine.
All right, yeah, whatever. But she's like, I don't get why you're so upset about it. Like, so what? They said that you're, all this stuff and like a loser and you're directionless. And Xander's like, yeah, man, but the more that I think about it, maybe they're right. Maybe I am a lost, directionless loser. And I just don't know what's going on with life. Like, I don't go to college. I don't have a regular job. Like, I live in my parents' basement. Like, there's a little bit of truth to what they're saying.
I will say it is tough that this 18/19-year-old hasn't figured everything out yet. They're freshmen in college. It's not like it's not like they've nailed their futures.
Yeah, I mean, people switch majors like all the time, like halfway through college.
Yeah, like, not even 20 yet. So
yeah. I mean, people take a gap year now. Like, that's like a thing that.
Well, that happened a lot in Europe. Like, that was like almost mandatory sometimes, it felt like. But yeah, I mean, people probably take gap years now because college is ridiculous.
A scam.
Gotta work 2 years just to
yeah. But so yeah, Anya finally recognizes a human emotion in this scene. And she sees
after catching a peek of him naked underneath the blanket.
So she sees like how sad he is, and she's just like, oh, okay, he's sad. So she lays down and she lays with him to comfort him, and she's like, I don't care what they say, man, like, fuck all that. I think you're cool, and you know why I think that you're great? It's because I'm in love with you. And Xander's like, that's nice. I feel like nobody in the show has, like, when somebody says I love you, no one's ever said it back.
Who has said I love you?
Riley said I love you to Buffy. Like last episode, remember he was like, I'm so in love with you. And Buffy was like, Forrest is dead. I feel like maybe Buffy and Angel.
Buffy said like a ditto or something. She said something. It wasn't like I love you too, but it was some confirmation of it. But
yeah, I was like, wow, Anya's in love with Xander.
And then I was like, is she in love with him or is she like just obsessed?
Yeah, I don't know. But Xander was just like, okay. So yeah, it was a little emotional moment between Xander and Anya, at least as emotional as we've seen so far.
I would say tender.
Yeah, a little tenderness.
Yeah.
So then we go to Buffy and she goes to the cave where Forrest died, and she's like, this time around, I'm prepared. I don't have an electric ray gun to power him up. I got a battle axe in my bag of weapons. And tell me if you think the same thing, but she looks so frail and weak carrying this bag of weapons and giant battle axe. It doesn't look right.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is tiny. She's a tiny person. Like, when she's standing next to Riley last episode, it's like she's so small, which adds to like how powerful she is. The fact that she can do anything. But yeah, like it's just sometimes you see her and you're like, that is such a little person.
Yeah. And that giant battle axe is like bigger than her, it seems like.
Well, it was like, what's the attack? You have a bag full of weapons. You have the battle axe. He attacks you. You swing the axe and then you do a backflip and then you start rifling through the bag of weapons?
Yeah,
like it's a video game? Like what?
Or are you like, hold on, let me put my bag down. Yeah. Like I can picture her like taking a swing with the axe and the bag just like flying off and like unwieldy. Like,
I love that she just said, you know what? Axe will do it. That'll do it. I'm ready to go back. No need to do another plan.
Yeah. The plan is just go in and fuck him up.
Make an anonymous phone call to the initiative and say, he's in this cave.
Yeah.
Send all of your troops.
She finds his little, like, so she keeps venturing into the cave and she finds his little computer in his little desktop.
And I thought the computer was talking at one point because she was like, Adam, where are you? And I was like, wait, she's saying this out loud?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's weird. But then we go to Adam. And because Adam is not at his little laboratory, his little desk.
His good internet connection in a cave that he found.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't really need internet because he's got that Ethernet cord. Well, he needs into his head.
He needs the cord to go into something now.
Okay, fair enough.
It's got to get. This is 2000 internet we're talking about.
That's true. It was still like
not a ton of Wi-Fi. You're plugged in.
Yeah. But Adam is with Riley and they go to this secret science laboratory where like a giant circle in the cave unveils itself and they go in there and Adam is like, this is where I will unveil a new race of human demon hybrids. And Riley's like, where are we? He's like, we're in the initiative. And
I'll do it 6 people at a time. Because that's all the tables that are in here.
And boy, oh boy, what happens next? So they take some steps in, the door closes behind them, and they're looking around, and a zombie Maggie Walsh appears. And she's working with a zombie Dr. Engelman. And they're there working on creating these hybrids that Adam is creating. And who is the dead person that they are resurrecting with demon parts? It is Forrest.
Oh man, this is messy.
My God. When this happened, I was like, do not tell me that this is happening.
So
do not tell me this is happening.
I was more shocked by Maggie Walsh and Engelman because the thumbnail showed like Forrest with like, it showed Forrest in like a zombie makeup or something for the episode. And I was like, that's crazy. But the fact that Maggie Walsh is shuffling around with these tubes with red liquid and yellowish, greenish liquid.
And she also looks like she's blind. Like her eyes are glazed. She's got like these. Also, is that now?
It's her.
There was a lot. It's the same actress?
It's the same actress. Her name was, same actress. Yep.
Okay, yeah. That was like the question I was going to ask because I was like, they're under heavy, heavy makeup.
Yeah.
And her hair looks crazy different. I was like, what's going on here? Is this like somebody in a Maggie Walsh mask just being like, yeah, Maggie?
No, because it was definitely her. And now I'm not sure if all the stuff we were talking about of her like getting killed because of the casting thing is real, or if they actually wanted it to play out this way. Because there's no way she has a casting dispute, and then they say, "Hey, come back for one episode and do this," or unless she had a contract for like how many episodes and she had one more left, and she had to fulfill it. I don't know exactly how that. So yeah, I don't know if I don't know. I don't know what this is. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if this
was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, dude.
The staples on Forrest's face that like keeps the. And it's such a weird. It's like they'd like add a new jawline or something.
Yeah, like, and a new top of his head.
Yeah, like what's wrong with it?
Like what? What could they possibly add?
Did they like melon ball and a demon's skull and just put his head into that? And like it's like a mask over top, and then you stapled it with like the craziest staples. Like these things are huge.
Joe's fashion corner. Like he does not look good, my friend.
I really needed him to comment on like it's gonna be hard to pick up girls looking like this. But the demon chicks.
Yeah.
He's got a weird one arm that's different.
I think that Maggie Walsh and Engelman looked decent enough, but Forrest just looked so stupid to me.
Yeah.
He looked so stupid.
Who looks dumber, though? Adam or Forrest?
Definitely Forrest.
Yeah, same. Agreed.
I think it's something to do with the hair. Like the hair hides like where there would be staples and stitching and stuff, but because Forrest is bald, they had to like add the and
but it was the jaw. But the jaw. It was like the jawline staples got me. Like they come down the side of his cheek, and it's like you didn't like just stitch those in. These things are like 2 inches thick. Like,
yeah, and
like, what?
They changed his teeth. Like this happened. Forrest died yesterday.
Yeah,
they work quick, man. Yeah. Like they gave him demon teeth, a new arm, half of a head. Yeah. Like,
and I was confused.
Goddamn.
Like Maggie died, and like they're zombies, right? And no one asked where their bodies went. I guess because this is insane that they didn't have like a funeral or anything. Like,
yeah, no, they didn't have a 21 gun salute for Maggie Walsh or Engelman or any. They don't have families.
They don't know where. They're like, what happened to them? I don't know. How did Adam get those bodies? Because he left after killing Engelman.
Yeah, he climbed up through the vents.
Yeah. And then how is he able to make Forrest, who he's killed, into this demon soldier? But the other people need like tubes and their brains are like barely functioning. Did he keep them that way?
Yeah, and is Maggie Walsh, like has he perfected the recipe that Maggie Walsh was trying to do? Or does Maggie Walsh have any of her brain? Because it seems like Forrest like recalls things from the past.
Oh yeah, he seems to be completely, like, he knows that Buffy was Riley's girlfriend. Like he's fully cognitive.
But I don't know if Maggie Walsh, because she just doesn't really talk that much.
So, somehow she has basic functions, but also high level skill for being
surgery to fuse demon parts with human parts and brains and teeth. And I mean, when I saw these people come out from, I was like, no fucking way.
You know what? Also, I just thought this show should do more of this all the time too.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is like season 1 shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, yeah, we haven't gone like, we've gone crazy, but like, this is ridiculous level to the point where this is what I want more of now, because we've watched, 4 seasons of the show. Let's just go off the rails. I can't believe we have 3 more seasons.
Yeah, right. Let's jump the shark, dude. Like, I mean, just do it. If you're going to go for it, go crazy.
I mean, we haven't even seen a lot of things flying, you know? Let's get some flying stuff.
Oh, yeah. We saw the gentleman, like, floating.
Yeah. Let's get some people flying across rooms.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's what I was talking about at the beginning of this episode, where I was like, I don't know how I feel about it, because it was just ridiculous. Like, that's the only way that I could describe this. I can't say like, oh, this was good. Mm-hmm. Oh, this was bad. It was just ridiculous.
Yep. 100%. Yep.
So yeah, Riley sees all this and he's like, he's our reaction. He's like, no fucking way. Yeah. So I feel like, is this a scene too where like Forrest does like the Undertaker, like sit up and he's like, yeah,
because I think they sit up and then it's a commercial break and then it comes right back to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Buffy's walking around the cave still and she sees Spike there. And Spike is like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? And Buffy's like, I'm looking for Adam. What are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm looking for a new cave to dwell in. And she's like, oh, well, have you seen Adam? He's like, I don't know. I don't think I have seen him in a while. Like, why are you here all alone? Oh, right. Because all of your friends hate you and they all turned on you and you're all fighting, right? And Buffy's like, yeah. And then Spike's like, well, sucks to suck. And he walks off and Buffy's like, wait a minute. How the hell did he know that? And then it's like, oh, Spike, you idiot.
Well, the thing is, he tells her that if she wants to find Spike, she needs to talk to Willow to get the disc.
Oh, find Adam, you mean?
To find Adam, yeah. So she needs to talk to Willow to get the disc. And he's like, who cares if you have a little spat? It doesn't matter, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's when Buffy does her, like, detective face, like, huh, that's weird.
Wait a minute.
And Spike is being the least subtle that he could possibly be.
Yeah, dude, I mean...
And yeah, it's like no way that he would know that they're fighting.
I mean, he doesn't even need to tell her about Willow. He could just be like, Adam's over there. Like, this is where Adam is.
Well, he has not run into Adam. Like, he doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah, he's saying he does not admit that he had run into Adam.
Do you think Spike knows where this secret lab is, where all the surgery's happening?
He knows that the initiative. That's as much as they know. Like, that's really all they know, too. No, he just needs to tell her that, because he's the one that got the disc. He's like, is there anything on the disc I found? And yeah, like, and that's all he says. But that extra point of like, I know you guys are fighting is what gave it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, then the next scene is Willow. Willow's still like, she's at Tara's and she's still working on trying to, like, fix the discs and
crack the code.
And Tara's like, why are you even bothering? She's like, I don't know. This is kind of like a challenge at this point. And I still want to see what's on there. It might be something important, actually. And as she's working on it, the disc just decodes itself. And she's like, oh, man, well, I didn't even really need to do anything. Maybe this was like a timed decoding and I don't know what's going on. But as it's doing that, Tara gets a phone call and it's Buffy. And Tara's like, hey, Willow, it's Buffy. You want to talk to her? And Willow's like, yeah, maybe I do. And then so they like pick up the phone and she's like, hey, yeah, this disc actually like just decoded on its own just now. And you don't hear what Buffy's saying. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Let's figure it out. And yeah. So then we go back to the secret science lab with Riley. and Professor Walsh is going to do an experiment on Riley.
Mm-hmm.
And Forrest is there, and he's explaining the new situation to Riley.
Forrest does a sassy finger wave that I just could not believe. It was like, dude. Like, I was like, what is this? Forrest's
acting in this is questionable. Like, in the whole episode, it's questionable, I feel like.
This science is dumb. Like, he's like, oh, I've made you super strong. You're not that strong. You're hideous. Yeah. You're a hideous monster that's easily killable.
And no one's going to want to do you, which seemed like your only goal in life.
Your goal was to destroy demons and to get laid. And now you are a demon that can't get laid.
Yeah. But he's explaining to Riley, he's like, yeah, I'm not dead. I'm more powerful than ever. I'm surging with strength. And then he does this little really fucking lame punch in the air.
With this like weird, like deformed arm. Like,
yeah.
I was like,
it's like, I'm stronger than ever. It was goofy, dude.
Yeah, like even in like the old Superman movie, like you bend a steel pipe or something, like do something.
Yeah.
Do something that you couldn't normally do.
I mean, when he punched the air, just like shadow box for one punch.
Yeah.
It's like, this is
not a special effect where his arms are moving like lightning fast or anything. It's just like, all right.
No. But he's free of his weaknesses. He's free of his weaknesses, Riley, and soon you will be too.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know Forrest was suffering so much.
I know. But then Professor Walsh just sticks Riley with a needle.
Dude, she jams it into his arm in a way that's so, like, there's no way this person's doing delicate surgery. It wasn't finding a vein or anything. It was just like...
Here you go. Here's the demon serum.
Also, we have to note that Forrest can control Riley with voice commands also.
Yeah.
It is insane. Like, Riley's just stuck in a chair, and Riley's like, shut up. And there's like, okay, he can't talk anymore. Like,
yeah.
Crazy.
But as we see later, can they really control? Oh my God. But
well, that'll lead to more
getting
questions.
Getting a little too far ahead
questions.
Here. Yeah. So then we find the gang on campus. Buffy's walking up. Xander's walking up. Giles is walking up. And Willow's walking up. All from different directions. And they're all meeting in this non-specific location. Like, how did they know where to meet?
I hate the blocking of this scene.
Same.
It feels like they're standing in cement and can't move. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they seem like they have to be so rigid and like standing on their like 4 points.
Yeah, they're standing in like a square and they're all like 6 feet away. They're doing social distancing very well. And when you
cut wide, there's people on campus just walking around them, and they're blocking every pathway.
I could have swore that I saw some people like walk through them as they're having this like crazy conversation.
People are like catching frisbees.
Yeah. But they all show up and they're all looking like timidly at each other because it's still awkward. It's still a little bit uncomfortable. And they're all like, hey. Oh, hey. Oh, yeah, hey. Well, I called you all here because, like, I wanted to discuss, like, some stuff. Like, don't you find it a little suspicious that we all had these fights last night? And they're like, I don't know. Maybe it was, like, some stuff bubbling under the surface. And then Buffy's like, maybe not, actually. Xander or Willow, who told you about me being uncomfortable with Tara or like saying that things are a phase? And Willow's like, well, it was Spike actually that told me how to do that you were doing this. And then she turns to Xander, or Buffy turns to Xander, and she's like, and Xander, who told you about like us thinking about you joining the military? And Xander's like, I mean, I don't know. Come to think of it, it was Spike too. And then Buffy turns to Giles. And she's like, Giles, who told you? And Giles is like, it was Spike. It was Spike.
Right.
I'm stupid. I'm a very stupid person.
And I wrote in my note, this is the reason for you to kill Spike.
Yes, dude. Wow, you should have done it long ago.
I was like, all right, at this point, Spike is on the shit list to kill, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so they all are like, Spike duped us all. That little mongrel. And then they're like, well, let's all just move on. And then I wrote in my notes, no one apologized? Which gets a little bit resolved later. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I was like, what the fuck?
I couldn't even focus on that because they're all just standing in their, like, in their marks. Like, they can't move. It's like, like, I'm surprised they didn't just meet at Giles' place. Like, if it was at Giles' place, they could, like, walk around the table. Like, I don't know. Like, they could just, it feels looser. This felt, like, so rigid. Like, I don't know.
So Buffy then is like, yeah, I think that Spike is working with Adam to trick us all and separate us and divide and conquer. And Xander's like, are you kidding me? Spike's been working for Adam. We should have fucking killed that guy.
Well, he's like, Spike's been working with Adam. I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all.
And then Willow starts talking about how Adam, like on the floppy disk, she saw like Adam's trying to make special demonoids like him at a special lab in the initiative. And Adam's going to have the demons attack the initiative from the inside, and the soldiers are going to attack the initiative. It's going to be carnage all around. And then Xander says, does anybody else miss the mayor who just wanted to be a big snake?
Love it when they reference the past, man. Love it.
Yeah.
That was
and
great.
I was like, yeah, it does seem like that was simpler times.
Seems like the serpent end of days thing was definitely bigger. Because I don't think the Adam thing is actually, it doesn't feel like a real threat.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be like, 30 of those like demonoid things before they get found out and just blown to bits.
Yeah.
Because like all of these special demon hybrid human things, they like Adam's big thing is like, I have a uranium core buried deep within me. And like none of the others have that.
I called that
anyway.
That's canon. I was saying last episode that
you
that
did.
Was canon.
When that happened, I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
One question is, what is on the disc that lets Willow know that it's at the initiative, but not where it at the initiative is? It's like, hey, I found this disc and it says at the initiative there's a secret room, but it doesn't tell me where the room is. Like, what kind of oddly specific.
Like, also, if you want just Buffy to like, why would you lay your entire plan out of like the demon hybrid human things? Like, do you think that's a good idea, or would you think it's like,
Buffy
just hints
figured
of
that out or something? I forget exactly what they figure.
I feel like Willow says that Adam's plan is on that floppy disk.
Yeah.
That she unencrypted.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what's annoying to me? I figured out the word for unencrypted, like breaking the code on an encryption yesterday, and then I forgot it, and I just keep saying unencrypted now, and I'm so annoyed with myself.
I mean, you have a computer in front of yourself. You could Google it.
I think I put it in my notes. Somewhere. Hold on. Decrypt.
Wait, what is the logic there? You're so mad at yourself and you have it in front of you?
No, I just remembered it. Okay. I don't have it. I have it somewhere, but I remembered it. Decrypted. All right, cool. I'm stupid, guys. Sorry.
Okay, so she unzipped the folder.
Yeah. She decrypts the... I'm so dumb, dude. I'm so stupid.
On the Cocaine Bear podcast, I couldn't remember the term paramedic. I kept calling them EMTs and nurses.
Yeah. But yeah. So now they all are like, well, we need to do something about Adam to foil his plan, and we're all a team again or whatever. So then we go to Adam, and Adam's at the lab, and he's like looking around, and he's like, oh, I can feel that Buffy is coming. And then Spike's there, and he's like, hey man, yeah, cool. Well, she's on her way. So let's get this chip out. And Adam's like, I'm not going to take the chip out until Buffy is here. And Spike's like, come on, man.
I was like, he's never taking this chip out.
Yeah, I mean, but also Adam's smart, and he's like, I mean, this isn't finished yet. Like, why would I just trust you? You already fucked up once.
Yeah, but I mean, you could take if he's a man of morals, he could take the chip out and be like, I don't need you. Like, it's like it's not been helpful.
No, he's not been.
Yeah.
But also, like, if he takes the chip out, is Spike, like, not going to work with him anyway? Like,
Spike would still work with him because he'd
still work with him and then, like, fight alongside him because then he can hurt Buffy and Xander. Like, why wouldn't he just take the chip out?
Yeah, he's not like he hasn't been working with vampires before.
Yeah, like Spike was trying to kill them all before Adam ever showed up. And it's like, now you could have a vampire ally.
You could have taken the chip out of his head, had him just go in and murk him.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a man on the inside. Like, he's always like hanging out with them at this point.
All those times where he was alone, separate with them, with a gun in his hand, they would have thought he still had the chip in his head. He doesn't. He just kills them.
And Spike did this before with the wheelchair, where he was healed with the wheelchair and acted like he wasn't. He could do the same thing with the chip.
Yeah. No, Adam and Spike aren't smart. This is why Buffy and the Scooby Gang always win.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so then the gang goes to Giles' place, and they're talking about how to kill Adam. This is where they make mention of the uranium core that's in his chest, and I put like Jonathan said. So yeah, that is canon.
Whatever was happening was real. It wasn't an alternate universe. It was. I
still feel like at the end of the episode with the Jonathan thing, he did say like people are forgetting. Like they're not going to remember the Jonathan verse. So
they won't remember the Jonathan verse, but like I'm sure the documents like that say, "Hey, this guy has a uranium core." Because for him to even know that thing has a uranium core, he had to find Maggie Walsh's like
secret files or something.
Something has to be written down about what they did to them.
Yeah, but when I saw that, I was like, "God damn, Vance was right and Jonathan was right." And
yeah, Jonathan's the hero. Jonathan's the real hero.
Yeah. That creep. But then Xander is like making suggestions about like, why don't we look up like how to do a spell like the remove, or no, Willow is like, let me look up like a uranium removal spell. And Giles looks at her and he's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And she's like, yeah, you're right. I'm stretching.
And I was like, well, magic seems like the answer anyway.
Like, yeah, but then Giles is like, well, we can't, but there's no like uranium core spell, but we could like do a paralysis spell and then just have Buffy slay him.
Was it a paralysis or was it something else?
I think it was a paralysis spell. Or some kind of paralyzing spell like that makes him immobile.
I mean, that's not what they end up doing.
No, it's not.
I don't think it was.
Which is why I'm so fucking confused.
Nice reference. Yeah, I don't think they said paralyzing, but it was something. I don't know the exact words. I didn't write it down, but it was something that like will pull it out of them or something.
Yeah, which still isn't really what happened.
Well, I just thought use magic all the time. Like, just use it. Like,
you can use magic from afar, from a safe space. You know?
This one, they were like, we have to be close. They made the rules that they had to be close.
But Giles looks up this spell, and he's like, well, this spell exists, but it's in Sumerian. And Willow's like, well, I don't speak Sumerian. Giles is like, well, I do.
Nerd. And... is the Sumerian text also something that shows up in Angel?
Maybe.
Okay.
But then Xander is like, Well, they're all like, well, this is deflating because like Willow's the witch, but she doesn't speak Sumerian, but Giles does. He's not the witch though. And then Xander's like, hey, why don't we all just team up? Have Giles speaking Sumerian, Willow's doing the witch stuff, and Buffy's doing the slaying. And then they're all like, how come I didn't think of that? Like, well, it seems like the pretty easy plan to figure out.
No, it's that he says like, okay, so you're gonna read the text. Willow's gonna be the witch thing. Buffy slays, and like, I don't know. I guess it felt like he didn't have another thing, and he's like, that's kind of a bad idea. And it's like, and then Giles is like, no, that's actually really smart.
It's so crazy. There's crazy enough to work.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's more of a beat of like Xander actually like stumbles onto something.
Yeah. Well, like he's in the past, it seems like he's been the strategist, but this seems like such a simple strategy to suggest.
But I don't think. I wish I knew more specifically what he said. He doesn't suggest something that they go, oh, that's great. He says something offhand. It's kind of like how Willow's like, oh, a uranium thing. And then it's like, oh, that's a stretch. And then Giles is like, oh, actually, we could do something different, similar. And Xander says something like, where it's like, oh, yeah, this won't work. And then Giles is like, wait a minute. That is actually a genius plan. And Xander still doesn't even know what exactly he said that is the genius part of it.
Because I could have swore that Xander was basically like, we should like have Willow doing the witch stuff, Giles doing the Sumerian, Buffy doing the slaying, but I don't know. And then Giles was like, that's actually a pretty good idea. Like, I think that Xander came up with the strategy, even though he was like low confidence in himself about like, I don't know, this is gonna work. And
I am like, so curious that I kind of want to look up that scene and just see it, because I feel like we're doing a disservice to our listeners.
Did Joe butcher it, or did his Vance misremember?
Yeah. Like, who's wrong in this?
I don't know. Are you going to look it up?
I'm going to look it up, but if you can go on to the, I'll look it up while you go. The next part though, there's something I wanted to say.
When they go to the initiative mirror and Buffy just kicks through it.
When they decide to make as much noise as possible.
Yeah. When they go up to that mirror, I was like, there's no way that Buffy's allowed in there. Like, the Colonel hates her. Yeah. Like, they would have taken away all of her privileges. And Buffy's like, stand back, everybody. And she just kicks through what is probably like a 1-inch mirror. Yeah. And it just goes right to the elevator shaft. And it's like, that doesn't sound off any alarms. Yeah. Like, what the hell's going on here? I was flabbergasted when she kicked through that mirror, man. It was like none of the sensors went off. Nothing happened. Yeah. It was wild.
I just went back to that scene, and I think you're right. He's basically like, oh, you have to use your Sumerian, your thing, and your thing all together. He basically, you're right. He says use all of that.
4 hours of sleep, but he's still right for once.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, I guess I'm just full of good ideas. And Giles is like, oh, actually, you are. Yeah, that is dumb. Like, were they not planning to do that? They've done that before.
Yeah, that's like the simplest plan. Like, what was the plan otherwise? Like, to just not do anything? Like,
yeah, this isn't the first time that they've used all of their powers together.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Okay, that's why I was thrown off. I'm like, they treated this like it was a super smart first time ever.
Yeah, that's why when it happened, I was like, why is this like a mind-blowing thing for Giles to be like, actually? Like, no, that's what you guys do.
Yeah, that's why the team, you guys have been a team for 4 seasons.
Yeah, remember like when you were fighting Angel and Willow was doing the soul reversal spell and Xander's there helping fight and Giles is helping Willow and like you guys always do this.
Yeah, it's like we don't have to like bring up every scenario because it's too many.
Yeah.
I do like when he was walking in, Giles is like, just because this is never going to work doesn't mean you have to be so negative about it. To Xander. Mm-hmm. It was a great line.
Well, there's one of my favorite lines in this episode in just a little bit, but after Buffy kicks through the mirror, the Scooby Gang starts doing like a little bit of like rappelling down the elevator shaft. And it's the slowest rappelling.
I couldn't help but think about like when they got to get that box of Gavrock. And she's like in the Mission Impossible, like,
oh yeah,
drop down. He's slowly lowering. I'm like, just jump.
Yeah, dude. As they're rappelling, they're taking like half an inch steps down this elevator.
Yeah, like you could just like hop. I don't know how they knew that they were gonna. I guess they just have rappelling equipment. I guess they went to. What would you go to in 2000s to get like rock climbing rappelling gear?
Yeah, Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, I'm rappelling down to a secret initiative base now. Oh, well, you're gonna want to get this.
I'm going spelunking. Cave
like
diving.
And none of them would know how to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
have
Xander.
We seen them rappel before?
Just that.
Just a Mission Impossible thing, but that was like a pulley system that Angel was helping.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. It's like, just jump down and jump up and I'll grab you.
Yeah. But as they're rappelling down, slow as hell, this is where Buffy finally, someone in this entire show finally apologizes to someone. Buffy apologizes to Willow and she's like, hey, I'm sorry about all that stuff that I said last night. That was uncalled for, and it's not cool. And Willow does her typical Willow thing of like, no, it's not really your fault. I mean, we've all kind of drifted apart this season. Like we're all in college, and like I've got my Tara thing going on, and you've got your Riley thing going on, and Xander's got his mother's basement thing going on. Giles has his drunk retired librarian thing going on.
You mean the Willow thing where she goes, it's all my fault regardless?
Exactly. And yeah, like Buffy's like, I miss you guys. Like I miss the Scooby Gang. And I blame myself for all this. And I wrote in my notes, Willow makes excuses for Buffy.
She's an enabler. She's just an enabler. That's all.
Yeah. Poor Willow, man. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, have you heard of like compliment boomeranging, where it's like you can't accept a compliment without like giving, and it's just like not genuine feeling. Mm-hmm. Like Willow's like that with apologies and compliments and shit. Like Willow is just a boomerang. Like,
yeah,
it's sad to see, man. But yeah, then they're like, yeah, you know, I'm sorry that I did all this shit. And Buffy's like, I'm sad that like we drifted apart, but let's not do this again. And let's like not let things, you know, bubble up to the surface and fester. Like, let's talk more because, you know, we're best friends. And as they're rappelling, they like get closer to each other and they hug and they're like, we're fucking best friends. We love each other.
It was, you can tell me anything. And then the after school special music kicked in. Yeah. And then they start doing a hug, which leads to a group
falling.
Yeah.
Well, they start falling down the elevator shaft, the rappel thing, and they're like, oh, okay, we hit the bottom.
And I'm thinking, why are you guys so loud? Why are you guys talking? You're sneaking into a base and having full conversations, yelling back up. Like,
so Willow and Buffy hit the ground first, and then Xander comes down, and Willow and Buffy are still like hugging, and they're like, I miss you, I love you so much, and like, I'm sorry. And then Xander hits the ground, and they're like, Xander, we miss you, we're sorry, we love you. And Xander, this is my favorite line, he goes, oh God, we're gonna die, aren't we? It's like, yeah, that's a great Xander reaction. And then Giles finally hits the ground and they all start hugging Giles. Or Xander. Xander yells up to Giles. He's like, Giles, get down here quick. You don't want to miss any of this. Or something. I don't want to get in on this.
I'm like, quiet. You guys are like full volume. Yeah. That's why what happens next is like, so like, yeah, you dummies.
Yeah. So they all eventually get to the ground. And they open the elevator door, and a bunch of initiative soldiers are standing there pointing the ray guns at them. And then they're like, oh, Shit.
I was like, what the fuck you guys think you were banging around on there? Why did they just go back in through the vent that they snuck into last time?
No.
Remember they just walked through an air duct and it was like an easy back way that Spike took them.
Yeah, that like weird like giant container thing.
Yeah. There's like 18 ways to get in here.
So now the Scooby Gang is captive and they're prisoners of the initiative, and they're being ushered through the halls to be reprimanded and locked up. There's a whole
Spike scene.
Well, yeah. So they're walking through the hall, and Adam and Spike are there, in Adam's little lair with his security cameras, and they're all watching it happen. And Spike's like, "See, fucking brought Buffy there. We're good to go. You gonna take my chip out now?" And Adam is like, "Hey, dipshit, why don't you look at the security camera? Buffy's not alone. She was supposed to be here alone, and she's here with her Scooby Gang." And Spike's like, fuck. And then he just tries to run away.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't, because Forrest Zombie catches him.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam's like, "You know what, Forrest? Just kill this guy. Take his head off."
Well, he's like, "I'm going to honor my deal and remove your chip. Behead him." And I was like, yeah, that's the move.
Now,
why
crucially,
does Adam think that Buffy's friends are that much of a danger if the only reason he thinks they're a danger is because Spike, who's an idiot, told him that?
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Spike is proven to be like not a good information guy.
Yeah. So like the information that you're worried about came from Spike, the person that you don't trust anymore.
Yeah, who sucks and has failed you like every step of the way, it seems.
Yeah.
But crucially, I forgot to mention during this scene, Spike is smoking a cigarette.
Yes.
And while Forrest is trying to chop Spike's head off, Spike takes his cigarette and puts it out in Forrest's eye.
Casually, too. Like, he's being choked up, and he just grabs the cigarette, and he's like, huh. And just, it's not like there's no, like, franticness to it.
No, and there's no defense from Forrest at all, either.
Yeah.
Like, Forrest just takes it.
Yeah. Because he just wanted a milky eye to make Forrest look slightly weirder?
I guess so.
Getting a lot of milky eyes in this.
Yeah, but like a cigarette in the eye, I don't think it would make your eye milky.
And it looked like he got him like in his forehead or something. All of a sudden, like his whole face is completely fine, but then his eyes just milky, like not singed or burnt clothes.
Yeah,
and he just gets up, runs away, and the classic Buffy the Vampire Slayer move. Adam goes, "Let him go. The plan is moving along just fine.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry." He's like, and I'm like, Force, he did all this to you, and you're getting bested by a vampire with a chip in its head?
Yep.
You're not that strong.
Yeah. I mean, that little punch in the air didn't prove much of anything.
No. I wanted to go back to the scene where they're all grouped together and talking about how they're going to get rid of Adam.
Sure.
And they mentioned, I think what confused me is that they mentioned needing a witch that was like really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And it seemed like they meant like a witch that was like more powerful than Willow when they said that. And I thought they were like, "Oh, we got to go get Tara." Or something.
Doesn't Willow say like Tara is not really down because she still feels a little awkward?
Well, they said that when they first all met up in the group. That was the excuse for why Tara wasn't there and why Anya wasn't there before the 4-person thing. But here I was like, oh, they need to get like a real witch. Like when they were walking through the school thing, I thought they were going to go meet up with like some secret character or something that we hadn't met up with.
Amy the Rat?
At one point coming up with this gourd, I was like, Amy the Rat has to be a part of this because they need a powerful witch.
Mm-hmm.
They can do all these crazy spells, and Amy is still a rat. If that does not get rectified, next episode, I'm going to be pissed. She's been a rat for like 2 years.
She's been a rat. Yeah, she's been a rat for a very long time.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen her in a while. Like, we haven't seen her in the cage at all.
I don't think they're feeding her.
I mean, what's the lifespan of a rat, too?
Wait, how is it like, oh, I don't know if we can get a kitten. The dorm won't allow it, but they allow you to have a pet rat?
I guess because it's in a little tank.
Sure. Sure. But yeah, and then Willow in that scene also mentions like, oh, get them all blowed up. And I love when people say blowed up.
Yeah, blowed up is funny.
It's kind of like
exploded.
Yeah. Yeah. When Willow said that, I was like, that's great. I love that.
Yeah. So yes. Now, so the gang is all captured and they're getting scolded by the Colonel McNamara. And he's like, I don't know what kind of freaks you people are, bringing in weapons like... And he pulls out that gourd.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, it's a gourd, a magic gourd. And he's like, you guys are stupid. Look, all these stupid weapons. Like, there's a crazy amount of demons and bullshit in here. And you're going to come down here and try to, like, take over. And Buffy's like, look, dude, this is above your pay grade. Adam's got a plan about, like, merging humans and demons. And the Colonel's like... And she's like, and Adam's got a secret lab. And the Colonel's like, you think that there's a secret lab in here? I know every square inch of this place, and it's all under video surveillance. And why don't you tell me about this secret lab? Because I don't know about the secret lab.
Yeah. It's that classic, like, I know everything about a... Wait, did you say secret lab?
Yeah.
When he said, like, beforehand, he mentions, like, it's no way they can get in. We have 24-hour surveillance around this place. And I'm like, bullshit, man.
Yeah,
She's broken in twice.
Yeah.
Adam has broken in. Adam has continued to come in. What are you talking about? You have 24-hour surveillance around this? And Spike is just roaming around? You guys can't even catch Spike.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are bad. Bad at
So
your
then
jobs.
Yeah. So then Buffy goes even further. She's like, I mean, you don't know much about anything that's going on in here, man. Like, I bet you don't even know about the 314 project. And he's like, sure I do. I know everything. And they're like, okay, so why don't you tell us, since you're such a genius, Mr. Colonel, why don't you tell us what your plan is to kill Adam? And he's like, here's my plan. I'm going to have like 20 of my men with our electric ray guns, and we're going to shoot them all at the same time and electrocute them.
You have regular guns, though.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Okay.
so Buffy's like, wow, you're a dipshit. Because I just tried to do that yesterday, and it only powered him up. So what's plan B? And Colonel McNamara's like, oh. And Buffy's like, look, dude, you're in way over your head. Like, I know that you think that you're in charge, but you are playing on my turf now. Like, this is demons and shit, stuff that you don't really understand. And he's like, oh, yeah? Well, guess what? I'm the Colonel, and I'm in charge of all this stuff. And who are you? And she's like, I'm the Slayer.
He's like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. And he's like, the Slayer, right. I know what that is. And then as he's like, everybody's going to follow my orders. No one's coming in. Nothing bad's going to happen. And then just as he says that, the power shuts down and it's all blacked out. And then like the emergency generator kicks in, I guess, and they have all this blue light. And some guy on a computer's like, Colonel, power was shut down and we're all locked in.
I'm glad you brought this meeting into the control room instead of somewhere else where I'm like trying to do work. like they're all standing around. It's like, this is not where you had that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the computer guy explains like, we're all locked in. The power's all shut down and we can't escape. And then it's like, oh boy. And then we go to Adam, who's on his little computer, and he's shutting down all the power grids. And then he opens the containment centers, and all the demons start to get let out. And they all start attacking these two science-looking people that walk in. And they all kill them. And then the Colonel is like...
Yeah, it gets real
"Oh."
cabin in the woods vibes here.
Yeah. And then so the Colonel is like, all right, well, we got to do what we got to do. We're going to have to go and kill all these demons that are on the loose. And the gang is like, the Scooby Gang is like, all right, well, we're going to go down there with you. And he's like, no, you're not. You're all under arrest. And they all look like, are you, dude? Like Giles is like, dude, you don't fucking get this at all, man.
Giles gave him disappointed Buffy look to the extreme.
He like rubs his forehead like, you're such an idiot, dude. Like, you're going to get killed. Oh, man. And then so Colonel McNamara is like, all right, soldiers, let's roll out. And they start walking down this hallway.
They leave 4 people with 2 people.
Yes.
And one of those people is the guy on the computer.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't seem like he's the military police holding like.
Yeah. So after all the soldiers leave and this one guard is like in charge of Buffy and the Scooby Gang, Buffy just beats the crap out of that guy like super easy.
I really like that it took her no time at all.
Yeah, she just manhandled that dude.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're done.
Buffy beating up regular people is my favorite.
Oh, yeah, like when she slapped that security guard that one time and just knocked him out so easily.
That was so good.
That was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's funny because, like, remember when she kicked Riley, like, across the room and Riley was just like, ooh, that kind of hurt?
Yeah. Well, she was
like,
pulling her punches.
Yeah, that's true.
And Riley is kind of a super... Well,
yeah, that was when he was still on drugs.
Yeah. But now I don't know. Is he on drugs?
He's on chip.
He's on chip. He's on chip. Oh, man. No other wires either. Just chip.
Yeah.
This was the time of microchips, man. This was literally like, just get a microchip out. Yeah.
So then the gang walks over to the security monitors and they're watching the war between the demons and the soldiers happening on the screen. And then we get a little bit of a, like, go through the fray of this battle. And the soldiers all have, like, these, they don't just have electricity guns. They also have machine guns, and they're firing willy-nilly, dude.
Machine gun guy would have killed so many soldiers. He just went out and he was just spraying left and right.
Just indiscriminate spraying, dude.
I was like, I feel like I would, if it was me, I'd shoot so many of my own soldiers in a panic situation like that. I'd just be like firing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're seeing like all these demons fighting with these soldiers. And then we also see our boy Spike. He's in the middle of this battle and he's running around and beating up a bunch of demons.
Taking really wide stance punches.
Yeah. I mean, he's going off, dude.
Things
and it's like slow motion.
Yeah.
Slow motion. Spike's like running through it. You see all the carnage that's happening. There's sparks flying and fire and all this shit that's going on. And then we go back to the control room where the Scooby Gang is, and Willow is like, well, we got to find the secret lab where Adam is. Let's look at the map and schematics of the layout of the initiative. And she's looking at it. She's like, I just don't know where the secret lab is. And Buffy's like, well, what about right here? There's air ducts and electricity.
Willow figures it out.
Oh, Willow does that?
Yeah.
Because
Willow is a freaking genius.
Could have swore that was, whatever. It doesn't matter. So they find out that like there's air ducts and electrical wiring going to this one part where there's no room on the map. So they are like, that must be where the secret room is, because why would they have air ducts and electricity go into that room? And they're like, well, how do we get in there? I don't think that we're going to be able to get in there because it's locked. And Willow is like, well, I mean, all the locks are disengaged except the ones that keep us in here. And then they're like, oh, perfect. So this secret lab looks like it's behind room 314. So let's just go to 314 and figure this shit out. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
It's kind of weird that it's behind 314 because it should have been just behind 314. You know, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be? Like, I mean, it seems like Maggie Walsh was doing the same thing in room 314 that's happening in the secret lab.
Yeah, like above ground. Yeah.
Like in room 314, she was creating Adam, which I guess everybody knew about.
Mm-hmm.
But why did they need this secret lab if this was all part of her plan anyway?
Maybe she was going to, I don't know. Maybe she was going to be like, all right, I'm going to make an Adam, but I'm going to make another Adam for me.
Adam. A secret Adam that I can watch have sex on a security camera.
And I don't understand. Adam was like, they're like, you know why you guys are overrun? Because Adam wanted you guys to capture all these demons. How did Adam convince these demons to get captured?
I don't know.
Like, because his plan isn't like, hey, demons, get captured and I'm going to break you guys all out and we can take over the place. Unless he told them that. Like, I would have loved to have seen a scene of him telling demons that, you know? Spread the word, get captured by this initiative. And once we fill it up, I'm going to unlock it. But
this is all part of my greater demon plan. Well, I guess,
but then his greater demon plan, like he tells them that, so that gives the demons motivation to get captured, right? But his plan is to have those demons die so he can use their parts.
Yeah.
But I need to know he did something to get those demons in there, because somehow they're like, this is all part of Adam's plan. It's like you can't convince demons to just do this, right?
Yeah, and get caught and experimented on.
Yeah.
What happened to the experimentation that the initiative was doing? It just seems like they're capturing demons at this point and holding them there.
Yeah, because they were ready to do some real experiments on Oz.
Yeah, and I mean, even the demon that that Maggie Walsh sent to kill Buffy in the sewers, like they were doing experiments on him. They were doing experiments on Spike.
Yeah, they were doing actual like experiments on. I don't know why they didn't continue with the chip.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a ton of questions.
Well,
this episode does not explain anything.
Well, if Maggie Walsh wanted to create this demon-human hybrid army, why even bother with the chip Spike to neuter vampires? Why even bother?
Yeah.
Whatever. So then we go back to the war that's happening on the initiative floor, and I think this is Graham. Is this Graham?
Mm-hmm.
Graham's there with a machine gun, and he's
super soldier.
He's just firing. He's spraying as well. He's killing some demons, and then the gang is like, "All right, well, we're gonna enter the fray now because we gotta get to 314, which is across the whole battlefield."
This open path in the middle that's kind of easy to get through.
Yeah. So they start running through. There's machine gun fire everywhere. There's one scientist guy that runs and his just arms on fire.
Yeah. I had a thought, and I know because we need the ending to be the ending. This seems like a moment where Buffy would be like, I can't let you guys go out there and risk it because my kicks and punches aren't going to be enough to protect all three of you. Xander has a gun. Giles just has a bag with the magic gourd in it. And Willow has nothing.
Yeah.
And they're just going for it.
Lucky for Willow, Buffy seems to be a bit of a clairvoyant in this scene because as they're running, she stops and turns around and she goes, Willow, get down. And she pulls Willow down just as like a guy starts firing a machine gun right by her. And then she just gets down and she's like, thanks, Buffy. And then they get back up and just start running again.
Like, just random, like, you just randomly getting hit with stuff, I would think.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, just luck of
There's
draw.
not a demon, like, shooting spikes or anything. Like, we've seen demons that shoot spikes and, like, spit acid and shit.
There's a tentacle monster,
Not to mention, like, the 3 or 4 soldiers that are just left to right. All over the place.
My favorite thing about this is that the soldiers don't have like a high point to look down. Like, you know, like that when you're looking at the whole area and you're like, oh, you guys have nobody posted up that can shoot down into the fray. Yeah, there's no like contingency plan for
no sniper spots.
There's no containment. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's unlocking everything, but. It was fun. It was a fun, big nonsensical chaos explosion stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually the Scooby Gang makes it to room 314, and they go in there and they close the door behind them, and they're like, all right, cool. We're in 314. Now, where's the secret lab? And Buffy just finds it in 2 seconds. She walks over to she's like, I bet it's behind this cabinet. She just moves the cabinet.
Yeah, I was
opens
like, what?
it. She finds it so fast. And she's just like, yep, there it is.
It was like the show was like, come on, we got to get this thing moving.
Yeah. So Buffy opens the thing, and it's like to this hallway that's all like white and glowy. And Buffy's like, I got to go in alone.
And this is where she goes in alone. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I got to go in alone. And when I go in here, barricade the door behind me. And Xander is like, you sure you got to go in alone? And Buffy's like, I'm not alone as long as you guys are right here. And Willow's like, is this close enough to do the spell? And Buffy's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, this is fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was a part of the rule. They had to be like close to do the spell too.
Yeah. And the spell is very volatile, according to Giles.
Yeah.
They need to be close, and they need to do it to perfection just to up the ante.
Yeah.
So after Buffy's like, yeah, this is close enough. I'm going to go in alone. The gang's, it doesn't take much convincing for the gang.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm going to go alone. And they're like, okay. And then they close the door behind her, and they just put the cabinet in front.
It's like when they were going to prom. It was like, you got this?
Yeah.
Helbies?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go to the prom later. Thanks, Buff.
So they barricade that door. They barricade the other door where they came in because they don't want anybody to disturb their spell starting. And so they do that, and then they get to work sitting cross-legged on the floor to do this spell. And then Buffy goes into this secret lab, and she sees Riley. And Riley's sitting there, and she's like, Riley, what are you doing here? And Riley can't talk because Forrest told him to shut up. And Buffy's like, are you okay? What's going on here? And Riley's like, And Buffy's like, oh, okay. You're acting weird. And then Riley like looks over because
Well, there's a line where Buffy goes, why won't you talk to me? And I wrote down, come on, Buffy.
yeah.
He's tied to a chair, and you said it like he's mad at you and won't say anything. Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't like, what's wrong? What did they do to you? I was like, why won't you talk to me? I'm your girlfriend.
Or like, I'm going to get you out of here.
Yeah.
Like he's strapped to a chair. Oh, no, he's not strapped to a chair.
Well, he's
been
I guess he's not
commanded to
strapped,
sit
yeah,
on the
he's-
chair. Yeah.
Instead, he can't move, and he's in a weird room.
Yeah.
Who did they do science experiments on people? Like, she says it like he's just being a dick to her. That line, I was
Like
like,
a
come
bad
on.
boyfriend.
Yeah, it's like, really, Buffy? Why won't you talk to me?
So Riley does this thing where he like looks over to where all the zombies are with his eyes.
Because they didn't lock his eyes in place.
Yeah. I was like, why wouldn't he do that before? Like he could still like shake his head like, or like, don't be here, whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that they had him like look
Yeah,
over there
Yeah.
with his eyes. And so Buffy turns around, and Adam's there with all the zombies, and he shows up to explain that, you know, Riley can't talk because of his programming, because of the chip in him.
They never let Adam say the whole thing. Like that time when he was about to explain everything to Riley, and Riley flipped out because he was having withdrawal symptoms. I was like,
Yeah.
come on, let Adam tell you a whole story before you kill him.
Yeah, he just says he's not allowed to talk because of his programming.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Forrest grabs Buffy. And then Maggie Walsh has like a weird like electric bone saw or something that she's like gonna use on Buffy.
Yeah, because somehow Forrest gets behind her and grabs her.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like, Buffy can't get out of this.
Yeah, right? Well,
Yeah.
it's also weird because it's like Forrest is supposed to be stronger than ever and he doesn't have any weaknesses or whatever. But when Buffy sees Maggie Walsh with this electric bone saw thing, she just kicks her and Maggie Walsh just goes flying. It's like you couldn't put any strength into Maggie Walsh, Adam.
This is why I'm like, why, if this actress didn't stick around because of money, came back to just get kicked onto the floor and like heavy makeup? I'm really curious about this. Yeah.
But in the ensuing brawl, Buffy and Forrest are having, like, they knock over a jar, like a beaker that's right near where Riley is sitting, and it's like a bunch of broken glass.
Mm-hmm.
And Riley looks over at it and he's like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is my escape plan."
Okay. And which I was like, okay, sure. I don't know how, but all right.
Same. I was like, I wonder how he's going to do that because he's not strapped in and he can't move.
Yeah.
So what is this? So then we go back to the gang who's in the room next door, and they're starting to do this spell that's going to help Buffy with this fight against Adam and, hopefully turn the tide of the battle that's going on. And then we go to Buffy and Forrest, who is now fighting, and they're duking it out, man. Like, it's pretty even, pretty neck and neck. And then Forrest, Riley is like yells towards Buffy. He's like, "Buffy," which shows like, oh, his commands, they're losing their grip. Yeah. Like, the heart of Riley is more strong than the commands of this chip.
And like Forrest is like, "I'm gonna kill your girlfriend."
Yeah,
like,
I wrote the exact line.
I was like,
Forrest turns to Riley and says, "Shut up. Watch me kill your girlfriend, Finn. That's an order."
It's like, Forrest, what is your motivation?
I do like that line of it's so cheesy, like action movie.
Yeah.
"That's an order."
I wish they had a big finishing line for him though. You know, like Riley has a let out some steam, like that kind of thing from Commando, this old like Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he throws a pipe through someone and it goes through a steam vent and he's like, "Let off some steam." Those one-liners in those movies were so good.
Yeah. I mean, like, Arnold was the king of especially in Batman.
Oh my God. Like Predator when he throws that knife through the guy and he's like, "Stick around."
Yeah. Dude, in Batman where he's like, "Everybody chill."
Oh God. Mr. Freeze. Yeah.
But so Riley, he's like, "Oh no, he's gonna," and then Buffy and Forrest are still fighting, but then Riley can start to move his hand a little bit. Mm-hmm. He gets his hand off of the armrest and he starts reaching towards the broken bottle, the broken beaker that was next to him, and he grabs it and he stabs himself in the chest.
When I first saw that, I thought he stabbed himself in the neck and killed himself. I was like, I don't know what's happening or why he would do that. But then we see he stabs himself in the chest.
Yeah. So then we go back to the gang who's doing the spell a little bit more. Then we go back to the Buffy and Forrest fight. Buffy and Forrest fight. I'm wasted right now.
Yeah, let's just go through. I know it's a lot of cutting back and forth, but like I think we can just like go through the sections that are.
What Riley is doing here is pulling out the chip that's in his heart.
Did they say it was in his heart? I know it was like,
at least
wherever
by
it
his
is,
heart.
Wherever it is, it's like not a place where you could perform surgery on yourself.
Yeah, dude.
And
somehow, how close to the surface was this chip? He just digs into his own skin and yanks out a chip.
And is not bleeding, not in shock. Like, he just ripped himself open and reached his dirty hands inside his body and rips out and pulls out some type of chip that's connected to something.
Yeah.
Like chips have to be connected to things. They don't just like...
Yeah, there's circuitry and stuff.
Yeah. And I don't get how he's able to do this at all.
My first thought when I saw this was, so wait a minute. Riley can do this, but Spike can't?
Yep. I wrote down in all caps, Spike could do that too.
Yeah. Like, Riley's just a guy and this will hurt him.
It'll kill him. He should be bleeding out.
He absolutely should be. Like, who knows if he would like puncture an important artery?
He did open chest surgery on himself.
Yeah, man.
And also, did Maggie Walsh get worse at stitching people back up because he didn't have any scars where he had that. like Spike doesn't have a scar on his head. Riley doesn't have a scar on his chest.
To be fair, they didn't do any kind of like hybrid demonization type thing. Maybe she's better at.
I'm just looking at these. I'm just looking at these staples and wondering like why he doesn't have like a crazy. I don't think he has a crazy scar on his chest where they put the chips inside of him.
Yeah,
they would have had to cut him open.
Yeah, they would have.
like that thing's in deep. That's not something you like go through the throat or something, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this chip was very ineffective anyway. Like he overrode that programming like within a day.
Why was the chip in him? Because it feels like today's the first day it's ever been used.
Yeah, I don't know.
You put a chip in him and you had him on drugs? Like, it's not that hard to control a soldier sometimes, man. Like, that's what boot camp and training is for. Like,
yeah, they did a little too much here.
Yeah. He's like, I was all about killing demons. I was on your side. You didn't have to trick me. Like,
yeah. You know what I just realized? Like, so the higher ups. Remember when they were talking to Colonel McNamara about how like they need to get Riley back because he's a part of their plans?
Mm-hmm.
So they knew, the higher ups knew about the secret demon hybrid army, I guess, too.
They had to know about the chip and drugs.
Yeah.
McNamara's on a need to know basis.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to need to know anything.
No. He just sleeps there on this little cot.
Yeah, with his little Army Ranger sheets. His little Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
But
Spike, rip this shit out of your head, dude. It's not that hard. Just like pay, if you have any friends anywhere in the world, just have them knife into your brain.
He's incommunicado, though. Like John Wick.
Yeah.
He's persona non grata.
Excommunicado.
But, so yeah, Buffy's fighting Forrest some more, and then she gets held down by, like, all the zombies, and Forrest is, like, beating her up.
When you say all the zombies, you just mean Forrest, Maggie Walsh, and Engelman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I felt like, are they all zombies? I feel like Maggie Walsh and Engelman are more zombies.
They're the hybrid things.
They're more zombie than hybrid. He's a hybrid.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they got the tubes.
Yeah. Dude.
What is the science? I love it.
But then Forrest says, "Is that all you got?" And Riley, who is newly de-chipped, comes up from behind Forrest and goes, "No, she's got me."
And I cheered and cried.
Yeah. It warmed my heart. And then so they start fighting the zombies together.
Well, he just rips the cables out of Engelman and Walsh, and they just collapse. The tubes.
Yeah.
Really terrible design flaw there.
And then so Buffy is like, "I'm going to go find Adam." And Riley's like, "All right, I'm going to fight this super soldier demon zombie. And I'm just a regular guy that stabbed myself in the heart 2 seconds ago."
And Buffy's like, "Hey, I just got beat up by a minion. I'm going to go try to fight the stronger version of him." like if Forrest is beating you up, you have no chance against Adam.
Yeah. And so Buffy goes off to fight Adam. Riley starts fighting Forrest. And then we have a scene of the Colonel comes out with a little battalion, and they come out guns a-blazing, man.
And he's shooting with like the one arm up and pointing. Like, it was, I love watching these actors like pretend like they know what they're doing.
Well, it's funny because like they come out onto this battlefield and they're shooting, and then they immediately retreat.
He immediately says fall back.
Yeah.
I was like, how did you not get out here before Buffy ran across the level?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you just getting to the fray?
It was,
yeah.
It's a bunch of bullshit, but whatever.
Yeah.
So then Buffy shows up, and she's in Adam's lair now. And he's like, "Oh, good. Finally made it." and they start fighting. And
Can we break it into Riley and Forrest's fight and then do all of Buffy stuff?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because it doesn't intercut back and forth and stuff here.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm going to really want to dive into this Buffy fight.
Okay, well.
Because the Riley one's pretty quick.
Yeah, Riley and Forrest are fighting, and, Forrest is taking it to Riley, man. I mean, he's beating the crap out of him. And
as he should. He's got an open chest wound.
Yeah. Riley's getting flung around this laboratory, and Forrest is, taunting him like, oh, you should have joined us. You fucked up.
You could look like me.
Yeah. It's like, why would you want to be you when you could be even more powerful? That I could give you power beyond your wildest dreams. And then Riley, gets a oxygen tank or something, and he starts beating up Forrest with it, and he punctures it. And as Forrest kicks him away, he's holding this tank above his head, and Riley's starts to run away too. And then Forrest looks up, and the tank just says in very large letters, "Flammable," and it just explodes into Forrest's hands and explodes Forrest, and that's the end of him.
Forrest gets blowed up.
He gets exploded.
Was there a spark that led to
I don't know.
Why did it blow up?
I mean, even if you puncture it, it was leaking gas or whatever. Yeah. But I don't think that would just explode it itself.
I would love if this was Wile E. Coyote Looney Tunes logic coming back into play, where Wile E. Coyote can run off a cliff, but it's when he looks down that's when he falls. He could be running in the air. And this is if you look at something and it says flammable, then it's just going to explode. There was no spark. There was nothing to ignite it. All of a sudden he looks up flammable. And
it's a big explosion.
And why not just use a couple of those on Adam?
The listeners can't see us, but I shook my head and shrugged my shoulders. So I was like,
And I just wish Riley had a line there instead of just running away, a cool I
needed an Arnold line,
an action hero line.
Because Forrest had some that's an order and that kind of stuff. Well, Riley had the "No, she's got me."
Yeah, I guess he got. But it would have been nice for him to have a line here too. Hey, stop listening to me having sex, you big freak. I don't know. Or if Forrest was like, Maggie Walsh had a camera in your room.
Yeah.
But I will say, for you, Riley did the thing that you always get on people about, seeing their friend and not wanting to fight him. Mm-hmm. He did not have any hesitation.
No, and I like that.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. If your friend becomes a vampire, bang, bang, don't care that you were my friend. You're a vampire.
So I have a brother. You have a sister. If your sister just turned, you'd be done.
Yeah,
easy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's not my sister anymore.
Yeah.
She's a zombie or vampire. Yeah. And she's going to try and kill me.
You wouldn't try to use your words to talk the demons out of her.
Yeah, talk. I know you're still in there. Come on, it's me, Joe. Don't you recognize me? As they're no, remember we used to play Sorry together.
Sorry.
Remember we watched The Fox and the Hound as kids? No, it'd be fucking 2 stakes to the heart. I wouldn't even wait for the dust to happen. I'd be like, 2 of them. All right, so let's get back to this Buffy and Adam fight now. So, now this fight is also interspliced with the rest of the Scooby Gang doing the spell until the spell happens.
Yeah.
But so I will denote when the spell takes place. Mm-hmm. So Buffy shows up to Adam's lair and he's like, "Oh, good, you're here." And they start fighting, and Adam is just beating the crap out of Buffy.
Yeah.
And Buffy and him are going at it, and Adam gets his like big long what was the name of that demon? Polaris demon?
Polar demon?
Porygon, whatever. Porygon demon.
Whatever.
Pokemon.
The stabby spike that has killed Maggie Walsh and Forrest.
Yeah. He shoots that out and he tries to stab her with it. And she dodges it and breaks it off. And I was like, badass, dude.
Yeah.
Badass. And she's like, what are you going to do now? And Adam goes, don't worry. I've got another arm. And then when he says that, you're like, oh, he's got another stabby arm.
Yeah. No,
he does not. He has a mechanical machine gun arm that like does this whole like extendo Inspector Gadget machine gun arm.
Transforms into a Gatling gun. And I lost my shit when I saw that. I'm not even joking. Like I was rolling. I couldn't believe that they did this. And I loved it.
And
I love the show for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is the kind of like over the top ridiculousness that like
I made some upgrades.
Yeah.
God. You can do this, but Force face looks like you stitched together.
And this was like a hidden machine gun. Like it's hidden underneath of his regular arm and then it extends further.
Yeah. It's like, you got technology like that?
Yeah. You couldn't give that to Maggie Walsh just in case? You couldn't give her scalpel fingers?
You couldn't keep her alive without tubes?
I guess you save all the good shit for yourself, you know? Oh, man. And so he starts firing all over the place at Buffy, and we get a slow-mo of Sarah. I'm not even going to say Buffy. Of Sarah Michelle Gellar running through this and then like jumping awkwardly behind a computer. And Adam's like,
I was like, has Adam never fired a gun before? It is no way Buffy should outrun this.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just be like, oh, I'm shooting behind her. Let me just go in front.
Yeah. Or just go back and forth. But of course she hides behind like a desk, so like, that's an impenetrable.
I was like, just shoot that thing to bits, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, she hides behind like a electronic desk where there was like all kinds of whatever it was. And I mean, to Adam's credit, he does just start blowing up this thing. He's firing at this desk like, I'm just gonna blow through it like with my machine gun hand. And this is where the spell that the Scooby Gang has been working on takes effect. And Buffy gets taken over by the spirit of whatever this is. Mm-hmm. She starts speaking Sumerian according to the captions that I saw. Mm-hmm. And Adam looks at her and he's like, oh, this is interesting. And then he starts shooting at her with his machine gun, Gatling gun hand. And Buffy now has a Matrix-style force field around here.
She becomes Neo from the Matrix.
In my note it said Buffy becomes the one.
Yeah. All of a sudden, these bullets are hitting this imaginary force field that's around her. Her eyes are like this orangish, yellowy color. She's speaking Sumerian, and after the force field starts to like fuck up Adam's bullets, Adam is like, "This is not going as planned, and this is different. This is different. Maybe it looks like she's also made some upgrades." And then he's like, "Well, I mean, it's not working now, but." Maybe now that I've paused for 2 seconds, it'll work again. Yeah. So he starts shooting at her again, and now Buffy can just bend reality to whatever whim she wants. Yeah, because he lost his like a grenade, like kind of like one of those grenade those launchable grenade things, and she catches it, or like she touches it or something, and it turns into like doves.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. When it turned into like 3 doves and they've just fluttered off, I was like, what is this?
Is this what happens if Xander takes over your body? Like, what the fuck? Like, are they channeling another powerful spirit into them? Or are all of them in her? Like, I honestly don't know what's going on.
She is all of the Sith, or all of the Jedi, and Adam is all of the Sith.
When she touched it and turned into birds, I was like, yo, game over? Like,
yeah.
Why did
she's like, it seems like she was like floating too a little bit, like, and she's talking like, speaking in tongues.
And you would have stabbed her twice.
I would have definitely stabbed her twice if I could have gotten if she didn't turn it into like a dildo or whatever. But after Adam shoots a couple more, she just reverts Adam's gun hand back to his normal, regular hand. Mm-hmm. And then she starts walloping Adam. She is beating his ass. And Adam is just getting flung around this place. And then she just pushes him up against a wall. And Adam's like, wait.
So specifically what happens here, and I had her, she does a Liu Kang flying kicks, those flying bicycle kicks in the air.
Yes.
And then she does a Kano heart ripping out his uranium heart from Mortal Kombat. It's legitimately Mortal Kombat moves to end this fight scene.
Yeah. And she rips out his uranium core, and Adam's like, and he falls over and he's dead now.
There's some line about like, you don't have the power or something, and this is what powers you or whatever. I don't know. She says something, but she's holding this weird uranium core that's not just it's not just like not attached to stuff. It has like things on it.
It's got like guts all over it.
Yeah.
and she's holding it. Yeah. And then Riley shows up and he's like, what the fuck's going on in here? Because he sees Buffy's like crazy eyes and she's holding the uranium core. And then the uranium core, Buffy like starts floating it. And then it just like implodes in on itself and disappears.
Yeah.
And Riley grabs Buffy and it turns her back to normal.
I think she like turns back and he catches her. She falls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, otherwise Buffy would have cancer. Like immediately grabbing a uranium core barehanded. I don't know much about it, but I'm pretty sure uranium's not something you should just be like.
Yeah, just willy-nilly grabbing.
And it was like they had to do that. Otherwise, you can't like just blow that up.
Yeah. I mean, it was I as soon as it started floating, I was like,
I'm going to say that amount of uranium seems like really hard to get your hands on and like really expensive to put into like an experimental project like this. There's your tax dollars at work.
So Adam's dead. Buffy's back to normal. The Scooby gang that was doing the spell, demons start to like bust into their little room where they were doing the spell. And Spike jumps in behind these demons and he kills them and saves the Scooby gang. And Spike comes in, he's like, what? No thank you? No thank you at all? And Giles is looking at him, he's like, we know you've been working with Adam and you set all this up to turn us against each other, and you're like, you played a major role in making all of this happen. And Xander goes, yeah, and you probably only saved us just now so that we wouldn't stake you right on sight. And Spike's like, did it work? And they're like, yeah, it did. And I was like, what?
I was like, at least they addressed it. That's all I could say. They want Spike in the show. I want Spike in the show. I want Spike also to be bad too. But But they gave him a chip to make him not bad, but kept him bad. And yeah, I would stake Spike. I would say
I would stake him right now.
But tomorrow I'd be like, come over for some blood and just stake him in the back. Xander has been wanting to stake a vampire friend so badly. Like, he want to stake Angel so many times.
Yeah.
Take that rage out on Spike.
But now Spike is like, I'm here to help. I'm not fucking with Adam anymore. He didn't get my chip out, so fuck all these demons. I don't give a shit about anything. I'm on your team now. And Buffy comes out and she's like, all right, I guess he's on the team. Let's get out of here, gang. Let's go kill some demons on our way out.
Riley, what happened to your chest? Oh, yeah, I had a chip in me. I cut it out. Oh. You could just...
Oh, you could just do that?
You could just do that. Okay.
Oh, maybe I'm not on your team, gang.
What, you just used a piece of glass?
Yeah. No intense surgical stuff? Just a broken bottle?
Yeah, your hand's okay too? Okay, sure, yeah.
So Buffy and the gang goes out and they start killing demons on their way out. Mm-hmm. And boy, the next scene is all of these higher up military gentlemen in a boardroom in the void.
Trying to create another vengeance demon. No.
Yeah.
It's like the same room. The same black void, yeah.
And they're talking about how, like, yeah, this was an experiment and we were working with forces beyond our control and it was a failure and our soldiers suffered a 40% casualty rate.
Bullshit.
But, yeah.
40% is bullshit. It's no fucking way only 40% of those soldiers died from what I saw.
I agree.
It's like 75.
Yeah. But then they're like, and the only reason why it wasn't higher than 40% was because of this rogue vampire slayer, a traitor, a deserter, and a vampire saved the rest of them. And we need to...
Who wrote this? Who wrote this report?
Yeah. And then they start talking about how, like, we were fucking with demons and we shouldn't have done that. They can't be harnessed. They can't be controlled. We were wrong to be messing with these evil forces beyond us. And you know what? We gotta sweep it all under the rug. Kill anyone who tries to talk about it. If we gotta get everybody to sign NDAs.
Yeah,
and
it's like you got soldiers signing NDAs.
We gotta get them to sign NDAs, and if anyone tries to talk about it, we gotta wink, wink, handle that. Mm-hmm. As for the initiative, we gotta just fill that sumbitch up with concrete. And as they're saying this, they're like looking over like security cam footage of all these demons and humans like dead on the ground. It's like, well, what about the soldiers, dude? Like, are you just going to leave the soldiers down there with the concrete, or their families not get?
Maggie Walsh and Engelman, they don't know what happened to those bodies. Yeah, this is one of those things where they just go like, they go to the parents and they're like, hey, they were died in a something, make up some like thing. Yeah. And then pay off the families a little bit. Also, we get the Colonel dying in this like montage too, right? Like he gets attacked by some demon. Yeah. It is insane. The NDAs look great.
Yeah.
And I think they show a little bit of some Graham shooting in this montage. Mm-hmm. Get some action shot during their talk. But yeah.
Yeah, the military head honchos are like, fuck it, dump it. This is bad. We shouldn't have done this. We fucked up. And that's it.
My issue with what they're doing is like, they were like, you know what? Us harnessing demons to be soldiers? Bad idea. But should we keep this up so that we can actually keep fighting demons because we know they still exist? Like, no, we're not going to fight demons anymore.
No. Hey, what about that chip that neutered a vampire? Concrete. Concrete. No. We don't need to learn. That's stuff beyond our control.
Yeah, could that be used for something else outside of the military sector? You know?
Hey, shut up. You're fired.
Behavior modifying chips for like troubled humans, you know?
What did I just say? Did I not just say concrete?
That's a lot of concrete. We could, we could strip it for resources. Concrete.
Concrete. It sounds cool.
Is this a money laundering thing for your cousin's concrete business? Is this what you're just? But yeah, like I thought the initiative was there initially to just like attack and stop demons. I thought the government knew demons were there, but this was like to mitigate the effects. And of course, they don't want people to find out. But it seems like a lot of people in the world know about demons.
Yes.
Like demons are to a point where I don't think it's a secret.
No.
Like everyone in that high school knows that the mayor turned into a giant snake.
Yes, I was going to say basically all of Sunnydale High knows. I would say half, all of Sunnydale High knows, and half of Sunnydale High are demons or witches or something. Like they're all a part of this. Like there's witches on campus at Sunnydale University. Like I know it's not fun to like have everyone be like, hey, what's up, demon? That guy's a demon. That guy's not. Oh, and everyone's just walking around with stakes and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you want like people to be surprised by a monster thing. But I mean, when a werewolf attacks at the Bronze, where everyone's there, when Vamp Willow is doing her shit at the Bronze and killing someone in front of everybody, dude, and openly talking about they openly be like, oh yeah, we're vampires, and they have conversations. Like, dude, it's just hard. That's too recent. Vance, let's go all the way back to episode 1, where there's vampires killing people on stage at the Bronze. Oh my god, you're right. But then they brush it off with like, people just think about what they want to see. They're on KCP. Where's the principal? A principal is eaten. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm just mad that the initiative is going to disband and not try to. They were only doing this for their selfish reasons of like creating new super soldiers. But what about the soldiers that they were drugging, like Forrest and Riley? Like that seemed to work. Yeah, they were. I mean, until they got found out because they tried to kill Buffy. You could still like have a group that goes around and like polices demons, like Men in Black style. You know what I wish that we saw? So you know how we saw Riley doing like the withdrawals of the drugs and everything? We never got to see the rest of the initiative go through the same thing and how crazy they would have been. Yeah, were they going through withdrawals? Are they still on drugs? All of a sudden he was just like, yeah, they promised to stop putting it in the food. I don't know if I do. I don't trust the food anymore, but I still work for the initiative. And I'm like, so wait, and you never found out why they were doing that? Mm-hmm. And I don't think him having this like control chip in him is the answer that I wanted from when Adam was like, we're brothers and there was a file on you too. And I'm like, yeah, so what does this file say? Like, why is Riley only special because he has the chip in him? I think so. But then what is we never saw that chip control him. I want to know why Maggie Walsh was watching him have sex. I think she was just having the camera there to watch him, and he just happened to be like, I think she watches him. Okay. But I don't think she specifically was there to watch him have sex, but she did not turn away. She watched that whole thing with her cup of coffee. Yeah. And it's like, why is she, if you're jealous of him and you have a chip in him, activate the chip. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the chip, I don't know why no one else decided to make use of this chip. And how did Adam get the chip to start working? It seems like he had to like hack into something, but he's not. Riley's not on like a Wi-Fi radio signal, is he? And it's all voice commanded. Yeah. Could he cover his ears? Really, I just don't know. I just don't know how this thing works. Yeah. They introduced something randomly one episode and then
Whatever. I'm excited to see what randomness happens this next episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Done.
Like, Adam's dead. Like, and there's still one episode of the season left. Like, what the hell is this episode going to be? It's titled Restless. Is it the gang getting bored again because there's no initiative for Adam anymore?
They have to go to school. It's just them going to classes.
And actually learning.
Like
Riley's TAing again.
Like Anya and Tara, I don't know what Anya's doing all this. And Tara must just be at class or playing with the kitten. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is. This is a weird. Is there anything outstanding besides Riley's chest wound?
I mean, it seems like this episode was the close because they beat Adam, who was the quote unquote big bad, and the initiative doesn't exist. Maybe it's about Riley. Maybe we're gonna go back to the well of Riley being like, I don't know what to do with my life. The initiative is gone,
and Xander's like, I also don't know what to do with my life. And then Giles is like, I also don't know what to do with my life.
And then they're all like, let's start a froyo shop.
That would be amazing. I would love for this episode to have nothing to do with demons. Like they just. All right, so let's have some watchers come back into play. Do
you think this is going to be a cliffhanger that sets up season 5?
It's got to do something.
Yeah, well, obviously.
I don't know. I'm like really lost. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, the gang is all back together. They all apologize to each other after their fight.
I think we're understating too how crazy it is that Buffy became unstoppable force.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, man.
Why did they not do that against the mayor if that was a possibility?
She became the Scarlet Witch, dude.
See, you do that against the mayor and then you blow up Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he switches around.
Yeah, because... Yeah. Oh, I mean, even though the uranium core would that...
But he was in the bottom of the initiative, too. So an explosion down there.
Yeah, it doesn't get to the surface. It doesn't, like, fry anybody in the surrounding area.
Yeah. I don't know, man. She just, like, when she was in the Matrix, I was like, what is happening?
I'm so glad that you brought up the Liu Kang kicks.
Oh, yeah.
I totally skipped it. I remembered that as soon as I was like, oh, why? How did I fucking skim over that?
It was like, kick.
Did some...
Kano, finish him. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, wow.
Just ripped his heart out. Fucking Indiana Jones.
Somehow the uranium is pulsing like a heartbeat. Man, I mean, turning a bullet into doves, what was that?
I mean, it's a cool effect. It was cool.
You could tell the time period, too. You could tell this is, like, right around there.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, this is Matrix.
Yeah, the camera even does the, like, pan around her when the bullets are hitting.
Well, it was like in this time period where everything was doing Matrix kicks. Like, after they saw that, like, Scary Movie did it.
Yeah.
Shrek did it.
Yeah.
Buffy did it. I think that Austin Powers did it.
This movie that's really funny, Kung Pao, Enter
Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. I love that movie.
Such a good parody, like where they just spice them into like this, like these couple kung fu movies. But the trailer has the Matrix cow fight. Which is like the worst scene in that movie, and it's in the trailer, and I could see that putting everyone off. Where he's fighting a cow and is shooting milk from his udders, and he's doing the lean back Matrix move. Yeah. Minus that scene, it still has like some of the greatest moments in it.
Yeah, Charlie's Angels did it too. Like with Lucy Liu and Drew Barrymore and everything.
Yeah.
So I think it was just once the Matrix did that, it opened up the world of possibilities.
People lost their minds and they were like, everything needs something like this in it.
Yeah, it was like a trending viral TikTok that was like, everybody hop on it.
And they're like, Buffy, how can she do this? We could just all go into her body or summon a something. I have no idea what was going on there. The magic gourd.
Yeah, they never used that at all.
I guess that was in the center of when they were doing the thing. I guess
Was it?
I don't know. I have no idea. In the middle of it, I thought Amy the rat was going to be in the gourd, and they're going to use her as the powerful witch because they mentioned needing a powerful witch, and I didn't realize they were assuming that Willow is that powerful witch because she's always so negative about herself.
Yeah. Now remember, this episode is titled Primeval, and
Buffy does say the line once.
She does say Primeval. Somebody says Primeval in the episode.
Yeah.
But it seemed like no, Adam was trying to like move things in this technological direction. This isn't Primeval. I guess like Buffy's Sumerian matrix power was Primeval.
I guess so. Yeah. I forget when she said the line, but I just remember being like, "Oh, there's the line."
Yeah. Roll credits.
This episode, I don't know how to. Yeah, I don't know how to rank it or not. It's so weird, so crazy.
I really want to know how they're going to end it with this Restless episode. Like, how do you follow this up? Because this seems like it. Like, what's the addendum?
It just got to get blowed up.
You think they all drop out of school and they start loafing like Xander?
I think I'm actually going to take that road trip again.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't care too much about college and I should focus on this whole full-time slayery thing.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do you got to save the world, though? Jeez.
You know,
it's an endless battle. It's one thing if you're an angel and you're like a, can't die demon atoning for his past sins. Mm-hmm. This is a lot for Buffy.
Yeah, she just was at school one day and some dude with a mustache came up to her. "You're the chosen one. Guess what?
Forbes 20 under 20.
Yeah. All right. I feel like we've rambled about this enough. You got anything else to say about Primeval?
No.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate it. Subscribe and rate and review, all that stuff for a shout out. Join our Discord where I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to be saying on there.
Yeah, and start getting some questions ready for
our season 4 recap episode.
Yeah. We do a little Q&A, but start thinking about some stuff. Don't send anything else that'll be spoilery because we haven't watched the finale yet. But start thinking. Put that in the Discord. patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, where we're doing Boys Watching Angel and Boys Watching Movies. As I said at the top of the show, our Cocaine Bear one just came out recently, so give that a listen. It's a good time. Follow the Instagram at Boys Watching Buffy. Email is boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. Follow me at Joe Welke on Instagram. Follow Vance on Twitter. I always get him confused. Is that Vance?
And we will see you next time when we talk about Restless.
Nervous?
No way. I'm full of that good old kamikaze spirit.
Xander, just because this is never going to work, there's no need to be negative.
Seltzer Kings
Podcasts.